guess, Tom, I guess we'll start there. What do you know about Jack at this point, and obviously how much did his injury just sort of throw off the entire game plan tonight?
Yeah, it obviously hurt us without question. He did a great job while he was in there. Don't know yet. Did do an X-ray right afterwards. That came back negative. But we need to do an MRI to find out more ligament-wise what the injury is. Obviously, he's in a lot of pain right now. So, but don't know yet on that. But yeah, definitely without him in there, it just wasn't quite the same.
Tom, then Zach.
Tom, I'm sure in all the thousands of hours you spent thinking about what the season was going to play out like, there was never a time where you thought you would need Grant Brunell to play important minutes against Ohio State. Then, what was what was going on there with Donovan too? Was there a reason injury-wise, or would you just decide to use both of those guys?
Well, so basically, Grant's taking some reps in practice, but just there were some times it felt like Donovan was a little bit rattled, and just kind of getting calmed down, and just wanted to see him progress through that. So obviously he did some positive things, but so Grant obviously was a guy that can throw the ball, but yeah, that was never a thought going into the season, So but starters down, number 2 goes down, and now you got one scholarship quarterback left, healthy, and that's Donovan. So you just gotta battle, let's man up, So yeah, no, not necessarily at all what it was expected, for sure.
Zach and Ken.
I guess in some ways, and I know guys will want to sort of say they're keeping focus forward, putting things behind them, but I guess is there any sort of added challenge in the expectations these guys had for themselves this year, and maybe picking them up from games like this when maybe I don't know if the right word is the fall was a little bit further than they, because they expected so much more of themselves, I guess.
I think that's fair. I think that's a realistic challenge without question. But I also feel like that, just by the way the guys, just listen to them talk to each other on the sidelines at halftime. It's just we don't have a choice. It's not anywhere close to where any of us thought was going to be. But at the same time, I'm proud of our guys for staying together, and I think that's what they're going to continue to do. But yeah, I think the challenges are there for sure. And but you know what? That's LEO is our foundation, and about accountability, toughness, and love. When things are going your way, and when things are not. And right now, the injuries continue to mount, and disappointments have continued. And so you've got to be able to fall back on who you are and what you are made of internally. And so that accountability, that toughness is paramount at this point. So that isn't going to change. And as tough as tonight was, it's one that we just have to put in the trash and press on. It's a pretty special football team that we just played tonight offensively. I've been here for several years, and it's with that quarterback playing the way he is right now, it's impressive. So they've got a lot of talent, without question, and you saw a lot of it tonight.
Kevin and Jim.
Yeah, Tom, I was going to ask about, just not having Taiwan and reach for the second straight game. How much does that compromise the pass defense a little bit? And also, did you expect a little more defensively, given how the defense had played and kept you guys in the game?
Yeah, I expected us to play better. I did. I was concerned. To say that not having Reese and Taiwan, I would say it makes a major difference in our defense, especially against those receivers. And it really modified the way we felt like we had to play, kind of knowing we knew we weren't going to have Reese at all after late in the week, and then we were hoping to have Taiwan more, but that did not end up not being the case. So they are progressing. Hopefully next week they'll be able to both be able to go, but without a doubt that has a major impact on what you do schematically against these guys. And so yeah, it just really compounded the problem in my opinion. So, but that's you try to adjust and adapt to your guys and give them a chance to be successful. But it really came down to not getting pressure on him. That's really what kind of caused, I think, the biggest issues. And you try to do different types of ways of creating that. And try to do some, just other things that we had, we felt like would give us a chance. But, they picked a lot of those things up and they did a good job of that. So, yeah, it was, those guys are a big part of our defense, there's no question.
Jim and Peaks.
Tom, I know that not having an offense that did flow affects this as well, but you ended up rushing just for 1.3 yards a night versus their 5.8. And then on a per play basis, it was almost 8 yards per play that they were giving up. But did you see anything that was, obviously they're a better team, as you said, they were very good, but anything else they were doing special to really gash like that?
Yeah, I mean, I just, to me, the biggest problem, I think, was, I was most disappointed in our tackling in the first half. To me, that was really what I didn't expect at all in our run defense. I do get it, when you do some things, with vision, you're trying to create and not give up the explosive plays in the pass game. And I think that's, if I go back and you look at it, I think maybe too much emphasis on that, and just sometimes just got to live with it. But I was definitely very concerned about that with our injuries that we had with our corners and the lack of even some depth in our safeties because of some previous injuries as well. So I just felt like that we can maybe hold up and not be able to give up those explosive plays and still stop the run. And I think that's probably where the problem was created. And then you just pretty much, we weren't good enough against the run, because maybe if you can't stop the run, then you just kind of really makes it hard, because they're still getting those pass plays as well. So, yeah, it was just, it was ugly. That's really the only way that's the best way to describe it. It was just, it was painful. Especially that second quarter window was just, it was just not good, yeah, it just, I think, like you said, when you start to play keep things in front of your approach, to me, we just got to be more aggressive. And that way. If they throw it over your head, they throw it over your head, so be it.
Peaks, and we'll wrap with Mike.
Donovan only had 6 pass attempts. Is he just not quite ready?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some concern of him just being ready for that. I mean, it's got to grow for sure. It's got to expand without a doubt. But I think just not wanting to put him in a bad spot, to get back there and have to make some complex reads. I think that was kind of the thought process. And so you kind of have a plan going in, to be able to allow him to really focus on those small things, throughout the week. And then when Jack goes out so early, it really kind of put us in a position that we really didn't want to be in. And that's what, once again, kind of goes back to why we play Grant more. And just because, you have a guy like Don who just has not been here last spring, not here, just some of the things that we did during fall camp, and working as just didn't have enough reps, to be honest with you. And I think that's a part of it that we got to obviously address. And we tried to get that. We tried to focus on some certain things he could do from a run pass read perspective and RPO options. And so that was kind of the way to protect him in some ways, with those complex drop back reads. And so obviously Grant's been here quite a bit longer and knows him way better. So that was the reason why we used him in those situations. So, but obviously he's going to have to, based on what happens with Jack, we'll have to come up with a expanded plan for him, without question.
Mike, last one.
Yeah, Coach, I noticed a lot of the starters on defense are still out there well into the fourth quarter. Was that, a decision by you or the players?
They didn't want to come out. Yeah, that was predominantly. And still, at the same time, we've got a lot of positions. We don't have a lot more guys left, in some of those spots. And so, but they didn't want to come out. Even I was having a little bit of a discussion with one of them about I wanted to take him out. He didn't want to come out, So, and I respect that. I appreciate that. But that was probably the biggest reason.
All right, thanks, Tom.
Have a great night. Delio.